Hi, my name is Audrey. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so I'm a little nervous, but starting today, I'd like to use my videos to teach you how to do cross stitch. Or if you're already a beginner, maybe learn some tips and tricks you didn't know before. I actually attempted to make this video about a year ago, but I was really not in the right headspace to be starting a new project, but I'm feeling a lot better now, so if you want to learn a new skill this summer, this is your chance. So if that's something that interests you, make sure that you subscribe. That would mean a lot to me, and that way you'll be able to see more related videos. If you're interested in learning a little about me, leave a comment on this video with any questions you have, and I'll take those and make a separate video. But I don't want to take too much time in this video to introduce myself or get into any of that. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so before we get into the tutorial, I just wanted to explain materials that we're going to be using. So first of all, you're going to need the fabric, and it is called 14 count Aida fabric, and you can get these really big rolls of the fabric that come in this little plastic tube, or if you're not sure how committed you are to this project, you can also get it in a packet that looks kind of like this. It's not this exactly, but it just comes in a little square package, and it's gonna be one sheet of fabric folded into fourths. So that's the fabric. And then the thread, you're gonna buy these little, I don't know what you call it, a bundle of embroidery floss, and these are, I think they're like 49 cents each, so really cheap. And I like the DMC ones, DMC brand. And something you need to watch out for though is other customers sometimes pick up a fabric and then they decide they don't actually want it anymore, and they put it back in the wrong bin, and then the next poor unsuspecting soul just reads the label on the bin and grabs one and it's actually the wrong thing. So you gotta watch out for that. You're also going to be needing a pin and either a pin cushion or one of those little sewing magnets so that you can put your needle down when you're not using it and it won't get lost. And you're also going to need a threader. I like the ones that look like this. Got the little face on them. And what else? You're also gonna need some scissors. I like these ones. that are made specifically for cutting thread, but it's not required that you have to use that kind. The next thing that you're going to need is an embroidery hoop. You can get either the plastic ones or the wood ones. I personally like the plastic ones for while I'm working, and then if I want to use a hoop to finish my project, then I like to use the wood ones because they look more professional and they're neutral color. You can technically do cross stitch without a hoop, but I just think it causes unnecessary pain and suffering. So you might as well just pay a few extra dollars for a hoop. These next items are optional and maybe for more experienced cross stitchers, but I like to use this little felt tip marker while I work, because sometimes if you're working on a complex project, you can get confused where you are, and it's just nice to be able to have some landmarks while you're working. Like I said, beginners might not want to implement this yet, because if you mark in the wrong place, then it's just there forever. But if you want to give that a try, then you just put a little dot in the center of one of the squares, and then later on, when you're ready to do that part of the project, you can just easily cover it up with an X of thread. And the next things are these little baggies and these white circle stickers. And I like these because I have a lot of different colors of thread. So what I like to do is I put the thread in the bag, and then I fold the bag in half and put on a sticker with the number of the color. And then what I can actually do is I can put them in these little boxes. They've got a little magnet on the side, and I can stack them, and I can easily get what I need. So I think I covered all the materials. So now what I'm going to do is show you how to put the fabric into the hoop, because I really want this tutorial to be for people who have never even touched the materials before. I want you to feel right at home. Alright, so I've just got this little scrap of fabric here, and I've got my little baby hoop. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna unscrew the little thing to to loosen it. And then you're gonna take out the circle from the center, and the circle you got from the center is gonna go behind the fabric, and you're gonna push it through the bigger circle. And the piece of fabric that you're using, you need to make sure that it's at least big enough to be folded over in between the hoops on all sides. And then you tighten it. And you want to tighten it as much as you can while still being able to do it easily, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to make sure it's not gonna go anywhere. Alright. And then I'm gonna show you how to thread the needle. So you've got your needle, and you've got your threader, and you're gonna put the little loop of the threader through the little hole in the needle, like so. I don't know if you can see that. Focus. Alright, and then you're gonna take the end of your thread and you're gonna put it through the hole of the threader, and you're gonna pull it through a little bit so there's a little tail, and then you're gonna hold the thread and you're gonna pull thread through the needle, and then take off the threader, and then you're gonna slide your needle into that little bend that you made, and there you go. And then so next what I want to do is I just want to show you some of the basic concepts and movements. So first of all, I'm going to show you the thread. As you can see, it's got this little grid pattern with a hole at the corner of each little square, and how you're going to be making your pictures is you're actually going to be using X's of thread. And let me show you here this one that's already done. If you get in really close, you can see, oh, it's got a thread. Cat hair or something. Oh, it's still there. If you have cats or dogs, it's inevitable that some pet hair is going to be trapped into your work just because it's like floating through the air constantly. So it's perfectly normal. So as you can see, we've got these little X's here that are forming the bigger triangles. So, taking the plunge, okay? Alright, so we're taking the plunge. you're gonna put your needle down through one of the holes. You're just gonna put it in there about halfway, and then you're gonna reach your hand under your hoop and grab the needle and pull it through the rest of the way. And then what I like to do is I like to poke up right next to where I went down. And you're gonna leave a little tail, which you're gonna tuck in on the back later. And you're gonna go down on the diagonal. And what I'm about to show you is we're gonna make just a horizontal line of X's. Very basic. Oops, my little tail. While you're starting out, you might have to hold down your tail with your thumb so that it doesn't get pulled through. And you're just gonna pull it until you feel a little bit of resistance, and you don't want to pull it too tight. And we're gonna go down on the diagonal again. Trying. So you've got two little slashes in a row. And we're just gonna do that a couple of times. Sorry about my ugly fingernails. I really need to paint my nails because I have these little ridiculous pieces still left, like right here. You can see right there. It's still a little bit shiny. I really need to fix that. Sorry, I'm such a mess. And I just want to say that this kind of takes a while to wrap your head around. So if you are having trouble with the coming back up where you want, that is perfectly normal. It took me a long time to get to the point where I only need 2 or 3 tries. So don't get frustrated. Eventually your brain will be able to mentally see where your hand and the needle are. And just out of curiosity, here's what it looks like on the back. It's gonna look like little vertical lines. Alright. Alright, so I think you get the idea now. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back up as if I'm starting a new slash, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back diagonally the other way. And I'm going to complete all of those X's in one go. Cat hair again. Stop it. All right. And there is the first little row. And then I want to show you what to do if you make a mistake. You can just very easily put your needle under and pull the thread back through the other way. Oop, hey, get out of the way. Alright, while I'm doing this, I just want to mention a couple of little, I guess, pro tips. First of all, when you are doing a project, I like to make all of my stitches go the same way. In other words, I like to have the same slash direction be the one that's on top. And it's not a requirement, but I just think it makes your project look a lot more professional if all of your stitches are the same direction. It looks like, what am I trying to say? It looks like it's all one piece rather than just separate little sections, if that makes sense. There's like a word for that, but I can't think of it right now. Alright. So I'm going to reuse this piece of thread, but you don't have to. Let me just smooth it out. Let me show you that threading again. If you can even see it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is a line of X's, but there's a space in between each X. So once again, you're going to go down and back up right next to it. And you're going to leave a little tail. And then you can hold it with your thumb. And then you're going to go down on the diagonal. Okay. And normally we would come up right here if we were doing just a normal row. But we're actually going to come up the next one over. And go down on the diagonal again. And again, gonna skip one. Come up all the way until the thread is taut and go down on the diagonal. And while you're working, it's a good idea once in a while to, first of all, check the back of your project for any tangles, and to prevent tangles, you can actually just let your thread, you can't see it, but you can let your thread dangle for a moment and it will untwist itself, and that will prevent most knots. So I'm just gonna do a few more of these. Alright, so we've got one direction done. Ha, one direction. Quick side note, I hope One Direction makes a comeback because it happened with the Jonas Brothers, so I am still holding out hope. I'm still holding out hope that it could happen for them. Cross my fingers. Alright, so then we're gonna come up next to your little slash and we're gonna go down on the diagonal back the other way. And we are gonna skip a square and complete the X's. Skip a square, complete the X. Alright, you just finish that. Okay, another quick side note. I'm reusing the same piece of thread for this video. but when you're actually working on a project, you want to try not to reuse the same thread too many times, because the thread will actually get these little like frizzies. Alright. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is a vertical line. So I'm going to start down at the bottom this time. And you make a little tail. And you hold it with your thumb. And then you come up nearby. You go down on the diagonal. And then you're going to come up right here. And you're going to stack your slashes on top of each other. And after you get a couple of stitches, you probably don't need to hold your little tail anymore, because there's enough friction that it's not going to get pulled through. And I'm actually going to do a normal column and then a spaced out column in the same go. I hope you're not getting dizzy from my hand shaking. I'm trying to keep it as steady as possible. Oh, it's so hot in here. I've got my fan on, but it's still boiling. Alright, so I've got my little column here, and then I'm going to start doing a dashed line in the same thread. So I'm going to skip a square. I would normally come up right here, but I'm going to come up right here instead. Skip one. And go down diagonally. Skip a square. Go down diagonally. So it's gonna look something like that. Alright, and then we're going to go down and complete all of those X's. We're going to do the dotted line, and then finish the normal line. Sorry, my brain is so messy today. Oh no, I've got a knot. Hold that thought. Sometimes what'll happen is you think that you pulled your thread all the way taut, but you don't, and then you actually sew through the little loop. So let's see what we're working with here. The easiest way would just be to take your needle off of your thread and then use that to carefully grab that long end. And it's still not wanting to go through for some reason. I don't see any problems on the front. So it must be a problem with the way I did it on my first pass. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to kind of pull it off to the side so it doesn't get more tangled, and then I'm just going to kind of cross it over the top like that. Normally I would go back and have to start over that section, but since this is just a demonstration, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, so I'm just going to pull it off to the side so it doesn't get tangled, and then continue as usual. So here's what it looks like on the back. The place where we did the normal lines, it's gonna look like horizontal lines on the back, and then where we did the dotted line, it's gonna have little X's on the back. Alright, so I'll just finish that on my own. Alright, and there's that. Here's what that looks like. And I will take out the thread off camera. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is a diagonal line of X's. This one is a bit trickier, but we're just gonna go down and back up and leave a tail like usual. Doing a dotted line diagonally is a lot easier, but I'm gonna show you both because you never know what your pattern is gonna require. It asks for all kinds of crazy stuff. Let me tell you what. So, you did your first diagonal, you did your first slash. And, normally you would want to come up right here, but you just went down right there. So if you come up right there, it's just gonna undo your slash. So what you actually need to do is you're gonna skip one, pull your thread tight, and then you're gonna come down to meet the first slash. So you're gonna alternate between going up and going down. And that's what that looks like. Let me do a couple more actually, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the back. Alright, so here's what it looks like on the back so far, just with doing one side of the X's. That's actually kind of cool too, just a straight line. And then the way you complete them is also by alternating. So you're gonna go up, and then down, and then up. Sorry, I just hit the camera. And down, like that. Not too scary. And then it's gonna look like that on the back. Pretty cool. Alright, so like I said, next I'm gonna show you the dotted diagonal line. You guys know the drill by now. Actually, let me start somewhere else. Let me start over here. So, like I said, the dotted dash line is the dotted dash line. The dotted diagonal line is a lot easier, and you'll see why. You just skip one and go up, skip one and go up, skip one and go up, because you don't have to worry about coming up on the same hole and undoing your slash. Okay, so there's that, and then show you the back. It looks the same. All right. So then to complete it, you can do that alternating up and down thing again. Stop it. Alright, so this is a good chance for me to show you what to do for this type of knot. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's just a little loop coming off the bigger loop. And a lot of the time you can solve these just by sticking your needle through the little baby loop and pulling gently. Sometimes that doesn't work though. So then let me try pulling from either side. And that doesn't seem to do anything. So then I'm gonna stick my needle through the little knot if I can. And give it a little, oops. Careful not to stab yourself. This is dangerous territory here. But I will say you may stab yourself. That is a risk you're gonna have to take. Alright, and then you just gently pull on the knot. Something happened. Something happened. No? Hello? Where aren't you going? Ah! Ahaha! There we go. And then you can just pull it through. And that's what the back looks like. That looks really cool, actually. Some of these backs that I'm showing you look cooler than the actual stitch that I'm doing. What the heck? So there's that. Oops. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little sew with me video. Sorry this ended up being such a long video, but I figured it would be preferable to having a bunch of smaller parts and you have to search around for what you need. If you haven't already been using them, I left some helpful timestamps in the description, so if you want to come back to this video later, it'll be easy for you to find what you need. I also left a list of the materials that I explained, as well as links to purchase them. Like I said earlier, you can leave a comment on this video with any questions you have for me, and I'll do a separate Q&A video. Or if there was anything in this video that you thought could be explained better, you can also tell me that as well. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you soon. Bye! I'm such a normie, but this was my attempt at being like dark and moody. Do you like it?